don't know what the heck I'm going to do in this video. How am I going to describe to you why shops charge as much as they do and why you should consider doing things yourself? But hopefully I'm going to let you understand or show you how to understand things from your side of the view and their side of the view, and why when you take something to a shop, you're like blown away. This is a really good video idea that I don't know if I'm going to be able to implement perfectly and make everybody understand. So you take your car to a shop and then they call you and it's $3,000 to do something, and you're like, well, how much is this and how much is that? Well, this part is $700, and then you look on the interwebs and you find it for $300 and you're like, can I just bring you my own part? Why they won't let you do that? Why they're charging you $700 for a part that you could purchase for $300? Why, when you take your car to the shop to get your brakes done, oh, it's like, oh yeah, you're the best person in the whole wide world. We'll take you in the back and get you done. But when you take it there for something like timing, where the whole engine has to come apart, they act like they don't know what they're doing, when really you know that they do. So my name's Clay with the Clay Way here in Muskegon, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And if you find this information interesting, please let me know down in the comments below. I'll make more content like this, but most of the time we just do how-to videos. And if you dig my content, please consider subscribing, clicking the notification, sharing my videos, and giving me them sweet old thumbs up. Now, one of the things that we do on our channel here that's different, or at least I like to think it's different, is if you've got a question for me, you can reach out to me directly on Clay's AC and Auto Repair on the Facebook Messenger. I don't collect information. I don't want any money. I don't care about your baby mama drama. None of that stuff. I just want to empower people and inspire them to do things themselves. And I want to help people just like you at home that need to keep a little bit of money down in the corn purse for yourself. Keep things cheap. So I think we're going to start talking about parts. What I mean by parts is there's a lot of difference between what you can go to a local parts store like this one here in Muskegon and pay for certain things that you won't pay the same price for others. Now, this is a good example. This is a 3.5 Ford that we're working on today, and we needed 6 spark plugs for it. The 6 spark plugs that I bought from down there were $5.66. But when I called over to AutoZone, they wanted to sell me the same exact plugs for about $12.50 a piece. Now, why would AutoZone want to do that? AutoZone did that because AutoZone can't go to Ford and say, hey, we need 15 million spark plugs at X amount of price. Whereas, and they can go to junk manufacturers that make like E3 and Bosch Platinum Plus 4s, them sweet spark plugs that we see all sorts of advertisements about, that aren't as good as the OEM. But they can go to that manufacturer and say, hey, we need 15 million spark plugs. And they'll go, sweet, we'll sell you them things for $1 a piece. And AutoZone's like, awesome. Whereas, and if they go to Ford, Ford's like, no way, bud. We're only going to sell you them spark plugs for $4 a piece. And because places that are smaller don't have a markup percentage the same way as AutoZone does, you're going to more than likely get most parts from a local auto parts store that's privately owned, and you're able to support your actual community. You're going to get your parts cheaper. I'm not just picking on AutoZone right here. They all do it. Every single major brand, corporation-owned parts store is going to sell parts as expensive as possible. The ones that they sell the most of, like light bulbs, spark plugs, air filters, things of that nature. That's why you can walk in places like Walmart that isn't specifically geared towards selling auto parts like oil filters and light bulbs and get them so much cheaper, or going to your local mom and pop store. So them middle-sized chains like ACI, they buy thousands and thousands of parts, not millions and millions like AutoZone, but they work off of a different structure in the background, so you can get your parts cheaper from mid-sized auto parts stores opposed to large chain conglomerates. I don't even know if conglomerates or whatever the hell that word I was trying to say is actually a word. So I always recommend buying from local mom and pop places like ACI in Grand Rapids, Michigan. These folks are notoriously probably the best as far as in the country. I've lived in a couple different states as far as selling stuff reasonable and being able to get things. But if you go to AutoZone and you want to get a headlight per se, a headlight there, if you've ever been there, a pair of them's 10, 20 bucks, maybe one of them's 20 bucks, and you can go across the street to a place like ACI and get one for $3, the exact same headlight. It's ridiculous. And this is not a solicitation for service for ACI, but I do like the guy that owns the place, and I don't mind throwing it out there. He's never paid me. As a matter of fact, he believes I shorted him about $7,000, which, depending on what side of the coin you're on. So another toss of the coin is I went on the internet and I was able to buy a timing kit from AutoZone for $180 that at the same ACI would have cost me $240. But I may possibly have gotten a much better product from the ACI because it was a Cloy's kit versus a Duralast, which more than likely is from China. Now, see, as a shop owner, when I go and purchase your parts for you, I have to stand behind them parts with my reputation, my longevity, and how long I've been in business. And if that part fails, I have to eat that labor to put it back in there. So that's the reason that most shops won't allow you to bring your own part, because if it fails, they didn't make any money on the back end by charging you list prices to replace that part that was cheap. But that's here nor there. There's very few things that I found that you can buy from a major chain store cheaper than I could buy from my local mom and pop store. So keep that in mind. Help your community. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when you buy a part or you take your vehicle to the service center and you have them do that job. On your receipt, you're going to see list and net. Now, the list price is what you would pay as a customer at the auto repair shop. The net price is what you pay as a customer walking into the store and purchasing that part. Now, the reason that happens is because shops have overhead. They have tons of tools, tons of service equipment, insurance, employees, you name it, they have it. I have tons of parts and tools here that I've only used one time. Like this tool right here that was over $100. This is for setting the timing on an Audi. I don't do a lot of work on Audis, but I had to have this tool to be able to set the timing properly. Or something like this over here that's a brake flaring tool that you can use often, but I've only used it like 6 or 7 times. This thing cost over $400. This kit right here, $60. This kit right here, $200. Then there's this shelf right here that has tons more stuff on it, just like what I showed you over there. Plus this little toolbox right here that probably has about $20,000 worth of equipment in it. Then this $20,000 monstrosity that doesn't have an empty drawer in it, that actually doesn't have enough space. On top of that, I don't even want to guess how much tools are inside this thing. Then, if that wasn't bad enough, I have another toolbox over here, plus countless dollars in other things that I need to be able to do my job every day. Now, I really didn't touch on Amazon parts or parts that you can get on the internet. The reason that I didn't touch on that is because it is kind of a pain in the butt to get stuff off the internet. Sometimes it's not available for days, or if you have a problem and you go to repair that vehicle and you go to put that part on there and it's the wrong part, you don't have anywhere you can get it, so you can't accomplish your job that same day. And that's a real problem with mail order stuff and why I like a brick and mortar store. Maybe it's because I'm old. I prefer getting it from a brick and mortar store. Now, I'm not the poster child for auto repair shops. I have quite a bit of equipment because I've been doing this since I was 12 years old and I'm 46 now. So I've had a lot of stuff since I was a kid, and I really have a passion for this stuff. And anytime I need a tool, I buy it because I know I'm going to use it again. You don't have that luxury, but then again, you're not paying $5 for spark plugs. More than likely, you'd be paying that $10 to $12 that AutoZone wanted. Because I have an account because I spend more money. And when you spend more money with the vendor, you save money. Even if you walked into somewhere like ACI, you're not going to get the same price that I would get because I may spend $3,000 or $4,000. But there's shops that spend 20 grand a month with these places, and they want to keep their business. Okay, on to the next thing. So in the next episode, I think we're going to cover why, when you take something to the shop, do they not jump right on it? Or why the hell does that damn thing sit there so stinking long? What is the problem? Do these guys not know what they're doing? Well, I got some answers for you on that one too. If you dig this content, please share it. Consider subscribing, clicking the notifications, sharing my videos, which I already said just a minute ago. Giving us them big old thumbs up. And remember, if anyone else can do it, I promise you, you can do it too.